Toastmaster Eric Barnhart. Not self. Not self, Eric Barnhart.
Good afternoon. If you own a house, at one time or another, you've probably had to deal with the dreaded backed up drain. I called in a plumber to help me with mine. And you know what? I was absolutely amazed. This guy was utterly immune to this mess, this smell, to the indignity of it all. So I had to ask him, what makes a man choose a career dealing in other people's messes? His response was a little surprising. He said, well, it started out as a part-time job, as a career. I just sort of fell into it. It pays the bills, but I really just didn't want to be like my father. Okay, begs the next question, what did your father do? His answer, oh, I didn't want to be one of those lawyers. Now, I thought this a little humorous at first, but there was something odd about it, and it took me a while to figure out what it was. It turns out that this man had built himself a life, a career, based not on his dreams and aspirations, but on not being somebody else. In a way, I thought it was a little sad. Well, at least until I got his bill. It occurred to me, if I'm going to criticize someone else's career choices, I should probably examine my own, right? Have I made the same mistake? Well, it didn't take a whole lot of introspection to realize, yeah, I've done the exact same thing. For example, I'm not one of those successful, highly paid engineers here at work. I'm not a jock who played football in high school. I'm not one of those guys who shoots hoops in the parking lot at lunchtime. I'm not the athletic type. I'm not a social animal. I'm not a ladies' man. I'm not even a pickup artist. I might even say, I'm not attractive. Wow. I have a huge not self. I even took a bunch of these knots and lumped them into one ball of negativity. I once caught myself referring to myself as the fat guy. Who's looking sad now? It turns out that a not self is pretty well understood in psychology. It starts when we analyze other people and not ourselves. We become very good at categorizing, at stereotyping, at pigeonholing other people. We set them aside away from us over there. Then we build this mental fence to separate us. But then we fixate on that fence and we metaphorically ignore our own yard. We don't develop our own core values, our own behavior, but instead we're fixated on life on the other side of the fence. Because after all, life is always greener on the other side. We're jealous of those people over there. Have you ever heard a high school kid whining, oh man, the jocks, they get all the cheerleader girlfriends and the parties and all the attention. How come I don't get that? Jealousy in action at a young age. A problem arises when we continue with that jealousy on into later life. Jealousy uncontrolled can lead to anger, can even lead to hatred. I caught myself doing this in the gym the other day. In walks Eugene, big old muscular ex-Army Ranger Eugene. So what do I think? Oh man, here comes Eugene. I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go over to the pull-up bars. He's going to do 40 pull-ups with a pike. Man, I don't need to see that again. I hate him. And it's not that Eugene did anything wrong. He hasn't done anything to me. It's just that I can't do what he can. And sometimes the behavior you need is the exact behavior that you've excluded from yourself. Now, I sure don't need this. And about 5 years ago, I was well on my way to getting rid of this. I was 40 pounds lighter. I was running every day. I was lifting weights, my chosen form of athleticism. But there was one problem. I was becoming something that I hated. So what happened? Went right back to being the fat guy. Since I first talked about the not self a couple months ago, it was quite a revelation to me, maybe even a humbling admission. I like to think that I have done better now. I like to think that I'm more than just the fat guy. But one thing hasn't changed. I still don't want to plumb those toilets.